Very good evening to all of you. Okay, so it's been an endeavor at India for IAS that we cater to your entire process. So as been informed in the class in the morning and yesterday also, we want to ensure that your preparation is integrated. Many times when we have analyzed the path of many of them who have taken civil services, the reason why the process get elongated is because we see students preparing only for prelims, then mains. So this approach takes a lot of time. Keeping all this in mind, we have been regularly insisting that students prepare keeping both prelims and mains together. So this is one special session that all of you will have maximum benefit, and it's a pleasure that we have none other than Mrutyunjay sir along with us. Thank you so much, sir. We are sure that you will have the maximum benefit out of the session, but sir will also tell you this session is just an initial catalyst or trigger. From here, how do you carry on? What is your practice every day? That is what is going to have the real benefit of it. Okay. Without much talking, let's take the session forward. Thanking sir once again. All the very best to all of you. And to those who are attending online, right, you can also post your questions. We'll take the questions at the end of the session. Ensure that you're active and interactive also. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Good evening, online people. Good evening once again. All good? So how many of you are, like thinking of starting answer writing? I'm not asking how many of you are already writing, because I know very few hands will be raised. So how many of you are thinking to, like start answer writing? Very good. That means half of the class thinking. How many of you are already, or I would say, how many of you are I'm not able to get the question right. How many of you are already How many of you are already writing the answer? Okay, very good. How many of you have been to any test series already? How many of you have been to test series already? So you are writing tests regularly. Okay. So I would like to know the difficulties that you are facing. The people who are writing the tests regularly or part of any test series, I would like to know what are your difficulties. Okay, so that I can gauge where exactly is the janta. Yeah, tell me, what is one problem that you are getting in writing the answers? You can sit and tell. Yeah, basically generation of the points. Why you are not able to generate the points? Yes. Yeah, others. Yeah. Yeah. My friend's worry is he starts well, but he cannot end well. In the mid of the answer, he struggles. Yes. Okay. Some people raise hand there. Yeah. ಏನೋ ಮಿಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ. Something is missing. Yeah, that will be the general feeling. Something is missing. That brainstorming is a problem. Okay. So one person is not able to generate more points. Second person is thinking that something is missing. That shine or like that aura or that X factor is missing. Okay. And third person is telling the brainstorming is a problem. Why I'm not able to brainstorm much? Okay. Anyone from here? Yeah, please. Consolidation. Consolidation after writing or before writing? Before writing. So basically you are not able to put a shape for your points. So they are scattered. Your points are scattered. You are not able to bring that into a funnel and write it. Okay. So others? Few people rose their hands here. Okay. No worries. All the headaches that you have is good headache. So there are bad headaches and good headaches. Okay. For the people who have started, like they have good headaches. They are at least up to something. And the first worry that the UPSC aspirant will be having is, they think that they cannot write good answers. That is the first worry. They cannot write good answers. They think, but they never test themselves, because it is the problem of the generation that they want to hit the six on the first ball. Without knowing how to handle a bat, they want to hit a six in the first ball itself. So that is a problem. And they don't want to get judged. Once they write the answer, they have to go to someone, right? Either the mentor or the teacher or the roommate or the benchmate. They have to go to someone to show whether their answer is right or good or not. So they have a hesitation problem because they will get judged. So ist galeejag baritiya answer anta helbitre heng madodu anta. Okay. All of us sitting here and watching online have cleared 10th standard. Have you written answer there or not? Or just some scam? No, right? Second thing, 12th. I know how rigorous you were because I'm one generation old. Yeah. For us, like marks was like bandasht bantu buddhasht bittu. For you, I know 90 was nothing. 90 melene irbeku. 90 is like, oh my God. Yeah. Then degree 6 or 8 semesters you have gone through, or 10 semesters you have gone through. There, what you have done? You have written the answers, right? Or by fluke you have cleared? No chance. So you have written something. So now, after coming to this examination process, why that hesitation? Why you don't want to put that first answer into your paper? What is that thing that is holding you? The first culprit is your prelims. First culprit who is stopping you from writing the answer is your prelims. Because you want to clear the prelims first. After that we will see. No? That is not the right strategy. Okay. Second thing is the syllabus. The syllabus. Syllabus is too huge. And you want to tell to yourself that I will finish off the syllabus, then I will start answer writing. And the syllabus will never end and you will never start answer writing. Getting my point? So first thing, prelims thing, you want to clear prelims, then you want to write the answer. Second thing, you want to finish the syllabus and start writing. These two things will never happen. I don't wish you not to clear the prelims. Please. I wish all of you clear the prelims. But after clearing the prelims, so is it fun or something? Or somebody will come and, like put garland, shawl, that hara, turai kind of thing? No, nobody will give you a damn to clear the prelims. Finally, what matters is whether you are clearing this examination or not. Entire examination, CSC, not just CSP. Okay? And sometimes prelims, no matter how good you are at your studies, how well you have revised, how well you maintain your composure, all those things don't matter. Sometimes only that bit of luck matters. Because everyone lands up in saying, sir, if I get these two questions correct, I will clear. If these two get negative, I'll not clear. So everybody will come in that range. Error questions correct aitu antandre I'll clear error questions. So everyone, no matter like how many years you have studied, everyone will end up in the same situation. So after prelims, who are planning to, like write, trust me, it is as good as you have failed. Those who want to write the answer after prelims, so it is as good as your attempt is gone. Please note it somewhere. Because we'll be having hardly 2.5 months in between prelims and mains, and that time is just enough. That time is just enough to revise our optional GS and ethics. Essay hardly you have anything to do. Those 2.5 months are just enough to revise the entire syllabus once or twice. That's it. And in that, when you will write, So I would recommend that you don't just hazard your attempts. Hazarding attempt means wasting your attempts. Don't do them just like that. You properly prepare for mains first. Do answer writing, get the feedback, and make yourself sure that yes, you are writing good answers and you are getting good marks. Then only you think of clearing prelims. It doesn't matter how many years you are putting in this business of preparing to the mains. Then only you have to clear the prelims. So I have my own quote. You have to clear prelims only once. You have to clear prelims only once when you are ready for mains. You have to clear the prelims only once when you are ready for the mains. Otherwise, there is no fun in, like attempting every prelims, clearing and going to the mains and coming back. There are set of students who are clearing the prelims consistently. Every year they clear. But what is the results of the mains? Every year the same thing. Because we human beings are very good in, like taking chances. We believe in the Almighty. We believe in the fortune. We believe in astrology rather than putting the hard work. I see the person in the first year, then I see the same person in the fourth year. If you look at the value addition in the 3 years is zero. Sometimes it has gone negative because all other human attitudes and human behaviors have come. The first thing is ego. When you don't clear the exam in 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 attempts, then the ego comes, like, and but I'm not doing anything extra. I'm not doing any kind of value addition, but I want to clear. How it will happen? It will not happen. And second thing, perfection. The disease of perfection. I always call this perfection as a disease. It is not a, like good attribute for a human being because we cannot be perfect. We will be having one or the other lacunae in our personality. We will be having one or the other lacunae in our preparation. So we cannot be perfect. We cannot cover the syllabus perfectly. We cannot score perfect score that is 200 out of 200 in prelims. We cannot perfectly get 250 out of 250. Has anybody got so far in prelims or mains or in interview? So don't fall behind this perfection. And if you commit to write the answers, if you commit to write one test series, the problem is the first test you are preparing, you have 1 week's time, but you had to cover 5 chapters, but you end up in covering only 3 chapters and you have decided not to write the test because you want to prepare for all those 5 chapters and you want to present yourself. Even if you prepare for 5 chapters and go to the test, you will end up writing 5 or 6 questions because that is your first test. You will not touch 10 in the first test. So 5 or 6, again it will push you back that either you have prepared less or you are writing less, so you will not write the test, but you have already paid. So this is how the institutions make money out of test series. Getting my point? In enthusiasm, you will come and pay. The first test itself, you will not write. Even if you write the first test, the feedback that you get in the first test will be definitely bad, no? You improve your handwriting, structure the answer well, you try to attempt more questions, brainstorm well, improve your language. So this is what is the feedback that you are going to get, right? So there again comes the ego issue. So negative one. So I'll not write. So if 100 students have enrolled for the test series, only 5 or 10 students will end all the tests, like they will write all the tests. So this is the problem with the industry. Industry is made up of what? The aspirants. So aspirants are failing this industry because they are paying, they are improving the finance of the institution, but they are failing the industry because they are not getting the results. As simple as this. Fine. So considering all these points, I have made a few slides for you through which I will explain what exactly you have to do, right from making your mindset to the answers, to the end of the answer, that is conclusion. I want to, like take this session for roughly 2 hours. Understood? And if you want my, like credibility, I would just like to know, it is not an advertisement, but you should find credibility and you should trust the person who is, like standing 1 feet above you. Otherwise, the results will not come. Only this trust factor will get you the results. Okay. Myself started the preparation in the year 2011. It is 2024. So it is exactly 13 years and 3 months for me being into this. And I have not done anything apart from this. So either preparing for the examination, writing the examination, guiding for the examination, teaching the aspirants or mentoring the aspirants, whatever that is associated with UPSC, I have been into that since last 13 years and 3 months. Okay. And credibility thing, out of 6 attempts, I have cleared only 3 prelims. Whenever I cleared those prelims, I wrote mains, obviously. And I have cleared all those 3 mains. And I have gone to interview. Again, this thing didn't allow me to become officer. So I was short by few marks all the times. And again, I don't tell that it is this thing all the time. Even from my first mains to second mains to third mains, the value addition that I did was less. Otherwise, at least in my third interview or in my third mains, I would have been selected. I cannot cry. I cannot cry for that I didn't get selected. A better person than me got selected. The better person who put the hard work, who added the value for his or her preparation, definitely got selected. So I was left. Why? Because the value addition from one attempt to the other attempt. And the basic problem is getting laxed. Laxed in the sense, going for the extreme relaxation. From prelims to mains, every time, 2 months before prelims, get serious, hit the prelims, clear the prelims, then prepare for mains. So basically, from March to September, I used to get very busy in the sense, even I used to forget my lunch or dinner. But after the mains, until next prelims, it is just like roaming around. Desha Suttodu. Understand? So Kosha Ododu only for 6 months, Desha Suttodu for another 6 months. It has helped me in turn. But if I had spent more time in serious preparation for those 6 months also, the results would have been different. So definitely you have to take cues from my mistakes and try to implement it. So first thing, value addition every year. Second thing, don't get laxed until you get IAS, because even when you get IRS, you will write the next examination. So why not put that value addition in the first year itself? Why to wait for 3 or 6 years? Getting my point? So let us enter into the subject. Answer writing. I am not asking you the question whether it is an art or science. Yes, it is both art and science. So when it comes to the part of art, what exactly I am trying to tell here? What is that art? What is that art part of the answer? So if I want to take 10 points in answer writing, I want to put few in art, few in science. So what are those points which I am putting into art? Tell me. What is that art part? I don't agree when it comes to structure. I don't agree. Flowchart, diagrams, okay. First thing is your handwriting. Handwriting is an art. It is not science. It's an art. Okay. Usually I have seen girls having good handwriting and boys having not so good handwriting. I can't say bad, not so good handwriting. So basic difference in mains. If you look at the proportion that boys are clearing the prelims is good. But when it comes to the hit rate of girls in mains, it is better. Because first and foremost art is handwriting. Because girls sit at one corner and they create something since their childhood. And it is how our like gender, like teachings have come up. Boys, one jagadal kutkolalla, odaadta irodu. But coming to the logic part and the scientific part, boys are good. Logic. A plus B equal to C, sudden nag flash agutte. Because they are into, like sudden results ತೆಗೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ patience ಇಲ್ಲ. Sudden results ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೋ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Some jugad or something. Yeah. So what I'm trying to tell, handwriting is the first thing. Second thing, the arrangement that you put across, like how your page really appears. Third thing, language. Language, when you study the language, do you study it as part of some scientific curriculum? No. It is again part of arts, humanities. Then the vocabulary, again it is part of language only. Then the sentence making, again that is part of language again, sentence making. So few people have arrow-like sentences. Few people have very beautifying, like it is touching the emotions. Some people directly put the arrow, some people softly touch. Again, this is part of art. Coming to the science part. Yeah, many people told structuring. Structuring. See, science is, for example, if this body is your answer, head is on the top, legs or feet in the bottom, in middle we have the functioning part, all that thing, right? So even our answer would solicit some things like that, the introduction, conclusion, and when it comes to the body, the parts in the body. So how many parts you are making, and why you are putting this part only as the first, and why you are putting this example only there, and some illustrations, all that thing, they become the science. So let us not ponder too many things into this art and science. Then coming to mains, I told how it is different from prelims in short, but there are many things which are putting a line between prelims and mains. How mains is a different ball game. It is completely different, and according to me, it is more simpler game. It is more simpler game than that of the prelims. Because in prelims, you will get instant results. You write the test at 9:30 in the morning, 11:30 you will finish. Some institutions make the key ready by 1:30 only, and you will get to know where do you stand at 1:30. Before going into the CSAT paper, you will come to know where you will stand. You will decide whether to go to the CSAT paper or not. And few people having average heart, not so weak, not so strong, average heart, they will say, CSAT agli, then I'll see. But at least by 5:30, you will be forced to see into the answer key, and by 6:30, you will understand, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವರ್ಷ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾ, ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾ. So there. So it is called as ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಡ್ರಾ, ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಬಹುಮಾನ. ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಡ್ರಾ, ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಬಹುಮಾನ. ಸಿಕ್ತು, ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಅಂತೂ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಐದರ್ ಇನ್ ಖುಷಿ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ ಗಮ್, ಎರಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಅಂತೂ ಇದ್ದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಒಂದೆರಡು ದಿವಸ ತಳ್ಳೋದು. ಯಾರು ಮೇನ್ಸ್ಗಂತೂ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಮೇನ್ಸ್ಗಂತೂ ಯಾರು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. But the top 1000 ranks what we want, so they are sitting on the night of the prelims only for preparation for mains, whether it is in or out. ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, we will wait up to results. Sir, ಆ feel ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. Even the people who are clearing the prelims exam with margin, they will tell, sir, feel ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಹೆಂಗ್ ಫೀಲ್ ಬರಬೇಕು? ಇದೆನ್ ಇದು ಯಾವುದು ಎಸ್ ಚೋಪ್ರಾ ಮೂವಿನ ಫೀಲ್ ಬರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ರೊಮ್ಯಾಂಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ? ನೋ. ಇಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ? Without feel only you read, right? Without feel only you prepared. So for another 2 weeks, you are not getting that feel. So this is where we fail, you know. This is where we fail. We have left our jobs, we have left our families, and with small savings or with parents' money, we have come here and we are waiting for that feel. So wrong, right? So let us see how it is different. It is a simple ball game. Why? Because this is like a marathon. So that is why I have tried to take a picture here. Marathon. Marathon in the sense, it is not like a 100-meter sprint. 100-meter sprint within 9 or 10 seconds. Yeah, Usain Bolt is 9.68 or 9, right? Yeah. So within 12 seconds, everything is done. So prelims is like that. No matter how many years you have spent for prelims, in 2 hours it's gone. And basically it needs lot of stability in your mind, because those many years put into 2 hours. But here mains, how many years you have put, how many months you have put, and how many days are there. So total 9 papers are there. Among them, 2 papers are languages and other 7 papers are countable. Even if you don't do well in one paper, you can recover. You can recover. There are cricket matches where in the first innings, they have crashed within 100, yet they have won the test match. So like that, you will be able to recover in between. So that confidence you should have. Then second thing, enduring. Enduring, it will check your what? Enduring means what? How long you can sustain. Endurance test. So how long you can sustain? You have to sustain for 1 week. So roughly 9 days you have to sustain. Because morning matinee, you will be writing the examination. Yes or no? GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4, optional 1, optional 2. On the previous day of the GS1, essay will be there, but combined with English, and on one fine day, you will be having the regional language paper. So you will not be in the senses that morning GS1 is there, afternoon GS2 is there. You will not be able to control. Just you will be readying yourself for those days, like you give me whatever the paper, I am ready to answer. You call me for GS1, I'll give you ethics paper, you will be ready to write it. Because your preparation will be such. So endurance means for those many hours and for those many days, you will get yourself ready. And even health, your mental makeup, all that is very important. Prelims, ಏನೇ ಮಾಡಿ one tablet ತಗೊಂಡು 2 hours fresh, you can be fresh. Those tablets are there. If you are having headache, take one Crocin or like Dolo, you will be fresh for 2 hours. Somehow it will like get you through. But if you fall sick in these 9 days or something, again it will take one more year. Then comprehensive. It is not like I will leave some area and I will trust only this thing. Anyways, in prelims, the cutoff is not crossing 100. Let me leave geography. If you see the question papers of last 5 years, geography questions were less. Under 10. 6, 7, 8, I'm telling about prelims. But this year, 17 questions came from geography. Like that, UPSC will be giving chamak. Yeah, so they will try to surprise you. But if you leave those areas, for example, if you leave geography, you are leaving 7 questions. You are leaving 7 questions in the first paper. It is close to around 80 marks. So you cannot leave anything. You have to do everything. Adding to that, you have to do ethics also. You have to do world history, disaster management, internal security, international relations, society, then post-independence India. You have to add all these things. So basically, if you take GS 1, 2, 3, what you have read for prelims, they are only 40 questions. Out of 60 questions, what you have read for prelims is only 40 questions. Because other 20 questions are coming from world history, society, internal security, international relations, disaster management, post-independent India. 20 questions you will get. Whatever you have read so far, no, it will make good only for 40 questions. That means 2 papers. Optional, you have not touched. Ethics, you have not touched. Essays, you have not written. And mains exclusive part, these 20 questions you have not touched. Think, you are preparing for years. and you have touched only 40 questions. How sad it is. How sad it is. But I would say, to gain the confidence before you go to prelims, you have to get done with your ethics. You have to write at least 8 to 10 essays before you go to prelims. Then, coming to optional, at least 2 rounds you must have finished reading. At least 2 rounds. And at least 100 questions you might have written in your optional. So this is the checklist. So getting my thing, this is the checklist. That is, at least you have completed the ethics once. At least you have written 8 to 10 essays. Then optional, at least 2 readings you have done. And mains exclusive part, it's okay. It's okay because in some or the other thing we would have covered it. For example, when we are reading economy, yeah, pre-independence also we will read. So like that we must have covered. While we are reading for the places in news, we might have covered the international organizations also. Like that, there are chances. Mains exclusive part, don't worry too much, because while we are studying economy and polity, we have touched some parts of society also. Yeah. Disaster management, while we are studying for disasters, so it is hardly 1 day's affair to read the disaster management. Internal security, indirectly in our economy and polity and history, we have covered that. So don't worry about that. Checklist is what? Ethics you have done, essays 8 to 10, then optionals, at least 2 readings you have done. Then only you can comfortably face the prelims. Otherwise, it is like a disaster and you will not be able to manage it. Okay. Then all answers in our mains are subjective. Do you agree with me? Why they are not objective? Why I cannot expect the same answers from 2 people for the same question? Why I cannot expect the same answer from 2 persons? Because we cannot have the answers like prelims. In prelims, out of these ABCD only will get the answer, right? But in mains, do we have the options like that? No. For example, if I take one question, that is the rule of British from 1857 to, let's say, 1891. 1857 to 1891. So it is span of 34 years. In 34 years, so many things have happened, no? It depends upon what kind of book you have read. It depends upon like what exactly you are focused in that particular period. And if you make the notes from 1857 to 1891, it will be at least, like around 10 pages notes if you want to make proper notes. So in 10 pages, you will be having around 1000 words. But in our examination, we have to finish either in 150 or 250 words. That is the limit. So what exactly you select from those 1000 words and put in paper, it is too subjective. Yet both of you will get marks because it is your perspective. And some questions will be asking whether you agree or disagree. So when you agree, your course of the answer is different. When you disagree, your course of answer is different. And the examples that you quote definitely are different. So don't try to hit the makhi ka makhi answer. Makhi ka makhi answer, you know it? Exact that answer we cannot produce. To an extent, we can produce it in optional. In optional, that too in the first paper. Irrespective of what optional you have, in the first paper, there are many static things. You have to just produce like that. Understand? But in our GS questions and ethics questions, you will not get the questions where you will, like copy the answer from some book and put it across. No, it cannot happen. Okay. Let's say there are 20 points, 20 good points for one topic. You will be able to remember only 8. You will write those. The other person will remember another 8. So I cannot compare those answers. But which is making more impact, that matters. Getting my point? So it is too subjective. Don't try to compare with your peers that ಅವ್ರು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬರೀತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಾನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬರೀತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. There is nothing like that. There is nothing like that. If at all you want to do the analysis, get the analysis by a mentor or a teacher or a senior. Okay? Don't do self-evaluation. Self-evaluation is like suicide. Because always you want to like hurt yourself. That is a new like human attitude, That is, we always enjoy hurting ourselves. In Muharram is a festival, like it is called as the festival of, like sacrifice or festival of hurting yourself. Deha dandane. Like that, we always do dandane for ourselves. We always want to corner ourselves. Neen chanag marta illa, neen waste marta idiya duddu, sumne halagta idiya, all that thing. So don't do the self-evaluation. Get it from someone. So even though your answers are different, yet they will get the marks. Okay? So they are subjective. Scope of recovery. I told you, in prelims, you cannot recover. There is no recovery back. If you, by mistake, put B instead of D in OMR, it's gone because you are marking with pen. You are not marking with pencil. Okay? Here, you can cut it and write. And even if you have done mediocre in one particular paper, it's okay. In first paper, let's say you have left 2 questions, it's okay. Hardly matter of 20 or 25 marks. It's okay. You will recover in the next paper. So like that, there is a chance for recovery, but in prelims, there is no chance for recovery. Then, I told you, what is instant gratification? Alle draw, alle bahumana. This is delayed gratification, Delayed. When you will write the mains? September. When you will get the results? Earliest by December. Earliest by December. Otherwise, generally it will come in the month of February. Only since last 2 years, it has been advanced because they are starting the interview very early because they have less panels. Because the people are getting retired, people are resigning, so many things are happening. So on an average, 3 to 4 boards are sitting. So the interviews will go for 4 months. During our times, interviews would have happened only for 50 days. So interviews used to start by March 2nd week and end by May last. That's it. But now the interviews are beginning somewhere from January and February. So you will get the results earliest by December. So you have 3 months, no? You have 3 months. You don't have scope to cry, ನಾನು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಹಂಗಾಯ್ತು, ಹಿಂಗಾಯ್ತು, ನಾನು ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ಹಂಗೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ. ಅವತ್ತು ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲ ಒಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ಆದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸರಿ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. So next, what you can say, see, once you don't clear the prelims, what you will tell to your friends, family, relatives, all that thing? I did not clear prelims. I am writing once more next year. Very difficult to tell, right? Very difficult to tell. But once you write the mains, what you can tell to others? From September to, or from June, where the results, June, July, from June, July to December, January, what you can say to your pressure makers or pressure groups? You are waiting for interview call. Look at the confidence. You are not cleared the prelims is one answer. If you clear the prelims, what answer you can go? You are waiting for interview call. That itself will boost your energy and confidence. Understanding? So basically, you will have to wait for at least 3 months so that this feeling of whether doing good or bad to sink in. By the time the results come, mains results come, you will feel like ಏನ್ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ನೋ ಯಾರಿಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತು. ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ 2 ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ನ, ಯಾವ್ದು ನಂಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. So that is our beauty of human memory. Will not remember after 3 months. ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ಏನಾಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಬಂತು, ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಹೋಯ್ತು. Again we will be ready with that attitude. Okay? But don't be like that. But by the time results come, it will not hurt you. It will not hurt you. Again, you will be in the process. You will be in the process of at least completing the optional once again, or preparing for the prelims once again, or you are writing ethics answers, or essay you are writing. You are doing something. During that time, the results come. It will not hurt much as it hurts in the prelims. how to go ahead. Okay, this is all, like mental part. This is all about, like nothing related to your answer writing or brainstorming or putting across, nothing related to the content. It is all mental preparation. Now, how to go ahead? Where exactly our process starts? And I have heard people saying that you have to start answer writing from the very first day. I have heard people saying this because the toppers in their videos, they will tell only rosy things, They will tell only rosy things. Andre, as if I knew I'm going to get the first rank, I knew it. Because on the very first day I had started writing answers. Okay, tell me, today is your first day and you are asked to write the answer. Tell me which question you will select. Which question you will select. To write the answer, which question you will refer. It is your first day. Tell me which question you will select. Is it possible? And people tell that every day at least you have to start writing the current affairs questions. We don't know in which page the editorial comes in Hindu or in Indian Express, and people ask you to write the current affairs question. Please don't listen to such advices. Okay? When your content is ready, you are allowed to write. For example, on the first day, you had the class on Indian geography, let's say, and you have been taught about Indian monsoon. And your concept is done. First, for 2 hours, you have listened to the class. Then for half an hour, you have revised. And you have some handwritten notes also. Then pick up any question that is related to Indian monsoon and answer it. But the problem is, today, geography class is done. And you will pick up the Hindu. And you will take some question related to anti-defection law. You know what is defection. You don't know. You don't know what is defection. You don't know what is anti-defection, but you will write the answer on anti-defection law. How it will happen? Tell me. Is it practical? Without reading it, without understanding it, will you be able to, like make the answer for it? No, no chance. So there is a way. First is your classes or self-study. First, you have to finish off that. First, listen to that. Let somebody tell you, or you only read. And next is your concepts have to be clear. It is not like hundreds of topics. One topic is clear and you are allowed. You are having the license to write that particular answer. No issues about it. Let's say you have learned 10 concepts today. It's okay, you write the questions on those 10 topics. I don't have a problem. Even you write 20, it's okay. But it is not like you read it and you wrote it. There is one more process involved in between. It is not like reading for half an hour and writing the answer for 10 minutes. This process is very futile. That means this half an hour is also gone. That 10 minutes is also gone. If you listen to any class for 2.5 hours, let's say, you have to revise the entire class at least for 40 minutes. So that is somewhere divided by 4. The number of hours that you listen to the class divided by 4, you have to revise for those many minutes on the same day. On the same day, not in the next week. Then, in another 10 minutes or so, you make notes. Or while you are revising itself, you make notes. I am talking about only one single concept. I am not telling hundreds of concepts. Okay. So first is your self-study or class. Then that concept has to be clear. How to have your own notes. And I have seen you people are, like technologically very much well versed. And you know OneNote, Apple iPad, many things have come. Okay. But in examination, you are supposed to write on the white sheet with black or blue pen. And try practicing that. Don't make Evernote, all that thing. They are not sustainable, I'll tell you. You have to have the first-hand feeling of writing, first-hand feeling of seeing your own handwriting after so many days. your hand will not be moving then. So it is indirectly helping you to practice your handwriting also. Please do your own handwritten notes. Don't depend upon some Xerox notes, your friends' notes, toppers' notes. No, nobody knows. Like when you will become topper, and the same notes will be copied by Xerox shops and all. Okay, you create such notes. Let other people refer them later, but you don't depend upon any toppers, like notes. Maybe you refer to the toppers notes and make your notes, because the topper has made the notes according to his or her convenience. In your notes, like you have to have your own convenience, because you are writing with your own handwriting and you will understand it. Okay, and in that notes you should have all the relevant content, you should have all important topics, and you should write the things which you generally forget. There is no need of making the notes on India got independence on 15th August 1947. Will you make notes on this? But it is part of your book. Will you make notes? You will leave it for your memory. You will not write every explicit thing there. The only thing which you tend to forget. So first thing is what? Relevant thing, whether it is related to syllabus or not. And under that, all important points, all important topics. Third thing, generally the things you tend to forget. And the things which you remember by heart, you don't have to write. You don't have to write Article 21 every time saying that right to life. You don't have to, because you know it. Okay, so most important, relevant, and the things that you forget should be in your notes. And after that, very self-motivating thing comes, like that is revision. Many people fail here. They will make notes also, but they don't revise it. If you listen to 2.5 hours class, you have to spend 40 minutes on what? The notes making. Then from that notes, you need to revise for another 15 minutes. And finally, if you want, you can write the answer. Okay. So you take any class of 2.5 hours, extra 40 minutes for your notes making or revision for 10 more minutes, or 15, let's say 1 hour altogether, revision plus notes making. Then writing the answer. Initially, you will not stick to the time limit. Generally, 15 marker questions have to be finished in 10.8 minutes, and 10 marker questions have to be finished in 7.2 minutes. But on an average, let's think that for 10 marker you are taking 10 minutes, and for 15 marker you are taking 15 minutes. It's okay. By the time you will face the mains, then your time limit will definitely coincide with the standards. Okay, don't worry about that. And there is no fun in writing the answers, hundreds of answers, and keeping it somewhere. That's of no use. It's a waste of time. As soon as you write the answer, you should get the feedback. Either at the end of the day, end of the week, you have to have the feedback. Otherwise, the same mistake will be recurring throughout, and nobody is there to help you. And you will repeat the same mistake in the mains examination also. So on daily basis, you have to learn, you have to make mistake. If you fear of making mistake, then you cannot taste the success. You have to do mistakes, many mistakes. The number of mistakes you make, the number of teachings you will get, number of learnings you will get, then only you can get better. So that is why I have shown it is not like one step, but one step at a time. It's not jumping, one step at a time. So this is the course of action that you have to do. So today, if you are done with the classes, let's say your course is done and you have not done this, it's okay. It's okay. You can start preparing notes. Revise them. And if you want, on the same day, you write the answers, or you finish the entire chunk. Let's say you are studying climatology. Finish entire climatology in 4 days and maybe you will go to the PYQs or you will go to some test series and you will write that, and you will definitely show it to some mentor or some teacher or some senior, and you will get the feedback and note those feedbacks and see to it that you don't repeat the same mistakes in the next paper. And I'll tell you, if you do this feedback mechanism for only 10 weeks, I'm telling you, whenever you write the answers, let's say weekly, for 10 weeks, if you do this feedback mechanism, I am damn sure you don't have to go for the 11th week. You will have to just manage your time, make your content even more better, and do the practice again and again. Maybe you will go to a different mentor or a different teacher or a different friend, so that you will get even more value addition. 80% of the value addition is done. Another 5% from somebody else. Another 5% from somebody else. So like that, you have to have the variety. So for this, whatever the logistics that is required, logistics in the sense, like, first of all, your sheets. People are very frugal about their sheets. They don't spend on the sheets, like what, altruistically, or like generous, with generosity they will not spend. They worried, ಎಷ್ಟು book ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಎಷ್ಟು book ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಎಷ್ಟು refill ಹಾಕ್ಸೋದು, ಎಷ್ಟು refill. This is what is the investment. This is what is the investment. If a mentor is charging you, if a test series is charging you, that should not inhibit you, because you have come here to clear, not to save money. Have come here to save money? In that case, you would have earned, no? You would have gone for some profession and earned, no? If at all you are thinking of money, until you are clear, even if it doesn't matter if you make some loan also, maximum you can make around 2 to 3 lakhs loan, not beyond that. And once you clear, no, within 2 months you can. Think of that. ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಒಂದು 5 rupees ಉಳ್ಸಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. For saving that 5 rupees, we spend half an hour. So here, you have not come to save money. You have come here to save time. And if we work efficiently, I'll simply tell you, you think of saving time and saving your money. The equation is as simple as this. 1 lakh is equal to 1 year. 1 lakh rupees is equal to 1 year. In the entire year, you might save 1 lakh, but you are losing 1 year. Simple. So which is more important, 1 lakh or 1 year? So please spend generously on the needs of the examination. Okay? Don't go with the frugal mindset. Okay? You will spend, and spending is one good attribute to build the confidence also. When you spend on yourself, your confidence level will rise. You test it. Today, if you want masala dosa, go and eat masala dosa. The next day will be very good. Your efficiency will be very good. Masala dosa 50 ರೂಪಾಯಿ, ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ 40 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇರೋದು. That is not the way you have to think in this era. If it was the case 40 years ago, I would have said okay. But in today's time, you don't have to worry for that 5 rupees or 10 rupees, because your capacity is enormous. You are spending your energy on saving that 5 rupees rather than focusing on a year. So let me not repeat it once again. So I think you have understood the crux of it. Then, what UPSC demands? See, first part of the session, the first slide was mental makeup. Second thing, getting into the process. Getting into the process, like what exactly is the way or when you should write the answer. So that was the thing. Now we are directly going to the demand. Let's say you have started the answer writing. You have done classes, you have done notes, you have revised, and finally you are writing the answer. So here you are seeing, no? So what is the scope that this lady hits her arrow elsewhere here also? She can hit, right? She can hit. So what is the higher probability that she hits the arrow out of the board? What is the probability? Look at the space here. Hardly 5 to 10% of her hitting the board. 95% it might go out, right? Okay. First, let us focus on what is that 5%. Later, we will try to hit the bullseye. Understand? So first very important thing in UPSC answer writing is objectivity. Objectivity, you know, in Kannada it is called as vastunisthate. ವಸ್ತುನಿಷ್ಠತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ಬರೆಯೋದು. ನಮ್ಗೇನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಬರೆಯೋದಲ್ಲ. ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ದಟ್ ದ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಬ್ಯಾಚುಲರ್ಸ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ, ಬ್ಯಾಚುಲರ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ, ಬ್ಯಾಚುಲರ್ಸ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬ್ಯಾಚುಲರ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದಾಗ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾ? ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಲ್ಲ, ಏನು ಕಲ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫೂಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕಲ್ತಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಯಾರನ್ನ ಫೂಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ? ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯುವೇಟರ್ಸ್. ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯುವೇಟರ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು? ಅದೇ ಟೀಚರ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಓ ಆ ಸರ, ನಾನು ಒಂದ್ ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಫಿಲ್ಮ್ ಸಾಂಗ್ ಬರೆದ್ರು ನೋಡಲ್ಲ ಅವರು. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಚೀಟ್ ಕೋಡ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಲರ್ನ್ಡ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಇಟ್. ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕಮ್ ಟು ದ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಸೆಟ್ ಆಫ್ 10th ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್. 10th ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಉರು ಹೊಡೆದಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಏನೋ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ, ಬಟ್ ಮೋಸ ಮಾಡುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅಥವಾ ಯಾರನ್ನೋ ಫೂಲ್ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಕೆಲಸ ಅಂತೂ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ. ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ದಟ್ 10th standard, this one. Because in 10th standard, we had less content in writing. Though we have written like 3 hours examination, we might have written 12-15 pages max. In degrees, 40 pages, 50 pages we have written. But here, we have to write 40 to 50 pages, but with objectivity. In our schools, though we have written less, but we have written the relevant content. ಏನ್ ಬೇಕು ಅದನ್ನೇ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ವಿ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆದ್ ಬರೆಯೋದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾನೂ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಉರು ಹೊಡೆದು ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಮಾಡಿ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಬರೆಯೋದು. ಸೊ a square plus b square is equal to a plus b whole square minus 2ab. So this is what we have written. Because outside things we didn't know. But now we are so much corrupted. We are so much corrupted that we know only 10% of the content and we know how to make it as 100%. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಗಂಧ ಗಾಳಿ ಏನೂ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಹವಾ ತುಂಬಿಸೋದು. ಅಂಡ್ ಐ ನೋ few people start their answer, they begin well, and they end up in writing the introduction for half of the space. 2 page ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ half ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1 page ಬರೀ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಬರೀತಾರೆ. Because they are overwhelmed, they are not able to control their emotions, and they will start the subject in the 2nd page, and they will understand that time is going, and they will fill in all that thing in 1 paragraph, actually which is the answer, and they end up writing in some shabby conclusion, and they will expect marks. For this full page where you have written the introduction, you will not get more than 1 mark. And for the content that you have written shrinkingly, you will get 1.5 marks. Conclusion doesn't have much value, maybe half a mark. So out of 10 mark, you will end up getting around 3 marks. But you have consumed same time and same space. So I'll tell you how to write it in short. Okay. So second important point is relevance is done. 1 second. Okay, I'll come to that point. So this is like what UPSC expects is objective, what they have asked. I'll give one example. Otherwise, I'll take some question papers here. I'll show you what exactly is the demand. You should be able to, you know, like analyze. Clear? I'll take some easier questions so that you don't get worried. Okay. Take the 14th question. Comment on the resource potentials of long coastline of India and highlight the status of natural hazard preparedness in these areas. Okay. So now tell me how many important points are there here? 1, 2, 3. What they are asking us. So if I want to make parts in this question, if I want to address in this question, what should be my first part? Coastal line. You give me 1 line. Sorry, you give me 1 word. Is it resources or coastline? Is it resources or coastline? Which has to be stressed more? Yeah. Among these words only, resource, potential, and coastline. Which is the crux? Potential, resource. But for me, resource is the, when you start your answers with resource, where you will end up? You will end up in coast. But if you start with coast, where you will end up? You can end up anywhere, right from Gujarat to West Bengal. You can end up anywhere. But if you start with resource, you will definitely end up in coastline, no? Yes or no? Are you getting the point or not? In the hurry of the examination, this is what happens. You will get overwhelmed with coastline. You will start writing. India has 7,500 kilometer coastline, which is, like from Gujarat to West Bengal, there are 9 states, littoral states, all that. We'll forget resource. First, you have to hit the resource itself. Resource. The first subheading that you are making in this is this. Resource potential of coastline. You directly start with the resources. I will start with the marine resources, like I'll start from fish. I'll start from geothermal, this ocean thermal energy. I'll start with the mineral. I will start with the fuels or the fossil fuels. I'll start with the what? Nuclear resources, monazite, all that thing. So I have created 5 to 6 points here. Almost my answer is done here. But is it the only thing they are asking? No. So at least these 2 subheadings should be seen in your answer. If I don't see these 2 subheadings as an evaluator, yours is below average answer. No matter how much good content you have written in your sentences, I will not look into it, because the evaluator has constraints. Evaluator is not your friend. Evaluator will always try to do what, do his job as early as possible and run away, because he is not emotionally invested with you. But if the evaluator is evaluating his or her sons or daughters' paper, emotionally, you have only your, answers there, nothing related to your identity. Why he should take interest in your answer? So you have to make his job easy. So I am trying to tell what here, the objectivity or the relevance, what I am trying to tell. If you identify these 2, your half the job is done. Now, generating around 6 points here, generating around 6 points here, that's all. Okay, I'll take another question. Okay, this question only. Identify and discuss the factors responsible for the diversity of natural vegetation in India. So, what you are not able to see? Fine. Yeah. Identify and discuss the factors responsible for diversity of natural vegetation. So my keyword is this. Then factors of what? For the diversity, that too in the natural vegetation. So I'll put this subheading first. Introduction and all that thing I'll tell later. But this is the crux of the answer. So after identifying this and after writing in your answer paper, can you generate around 6 points here? So tell me 6 points. You all have learned about this. Those factors which is making the natural vegetation of India very diverse. Topography very good. Temperature very good. So climate, climate, temperature, humidity, so many things will come. Soil. You take anything in the geography that will become relevant to this. Yes or no? You take any factor of geography, it will become relevant. Yes or no? So the job is easy or not? But the problem that we make is we spend only 10 seconds on reading the question and we tell the natural vegetation. Natural vegetation, there are at least 5 types. Equatorial, okay, moist deciduous, then dry deciduous. Actually, they are not asking those things. You will write all those 5. Actually, that is not asked. There is no mark for that. You have to focus on this one. And when you are telling the terrain, let's say terrain is one thing, or the topography, or the altitude, let's say. If you write about the alpine vegetation as an example, height factor or the altitude factor, right from the plain areas, deciduous forest or the grasslands to alpine forest, we have diversity. You are quoting the example of alpine forest, that's it. Getting my point? So first address it, then the gates will open. First you have to prepare for that heading, the gates will open. Otherwise, you will be going in a different direction. Then assess the significance of wildlife sanctuaries in rainforest regions. It is very clear we have to focus only on the rainforest regions. So rainforest regions where? Western Ghats, some parts of South India, some parts of Northeast India. So we are restricting our answer. Are we going to Madhya Pradesh? Are we going to like UP? Are we going to Kashmir? So we are restricting our answers, and they are asking significance. Significance again. Tell the significance of wildlife sanctuary. What the wildlife sanctuaries will do? Natural conservation, soil conservation, wildlife conservation. So many blah 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 blah. Same thing, no? But while you are telling this, you give the examples. Let's say this wildlife sanctuary. You give the example of, let's say, this Rangantittu. Okay? Many. Rangantittu, though it comes in plains, I am sorry. So many wildlife sanctuaries are there in Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra, all that thing. You give examples, it will become specific. Though the factors and though the significance is same, are we quoting something extra from books? Same things, no? Ella wildlife sanctuary no adne madutte. Correct? But after you give the example of the wildlife sanctuaries in the rainforest, your answer will become unique. So answer rating is very simple. Only thing, there is a booth. Booth ಏನಂತಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರೆಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಅದೇನ್ ಬೂತ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬೂತ್ ನಾನು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಬರೆದು ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗದು ನೀವು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರಿತೀರಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಮೊದಲೇನೆ ನಂಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರೇ ಬರೆಯಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ನಾನು 10 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಸರ್, ಎಲ್ಲ ಓದಿದೀನಿ ಸರ್, ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರೆಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ಸರ್? ಮೊದಲು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರೀರಿ, ಮೊದಲು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಬರೀರಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್. This is one small example I gave how the specific approach, objective approach is different from the generic approach. Then relevance. See, when you are talking about the rainforest, you are not supposed to go to other areas. As simple as that. And while you are telling about the diversity of vegetation, you are talking only about factors, nothing else. Don't show off your knowledge that these many types of vegetations are there in India. You will waste 30 to 40 words and 3 minutes in writing the vegetations in India. That is not asked. Maximum, out of sympathy, they will give half a mark there. But you have wasted the time in which you can get 1.5 marks. Getting my point? Then multidimensionality. When you told about factors, I asked you 6. But if you write 10, is there any harm? Is there any harm? So keep your minds open to write more, create more dimensions. Okay, coming to the significance of this one, what? Wildlife sanctuaries. I asked you 6, you write 10. There's no problem. But in the hurry of writing 10, there is a chance that you will end up writing very mediocre factors in 1 or 2. But it's okay. It's okay. Even the evaluator will understand. In the hurry, while writing 8 good points, you have taken a back seat in 2 points. It's okay. But it is better than 6 points. It is better than 6 points. So what we'll do, to make those 6 points very good and perfect, we waste time. Don't do that. To make your answer very perfect, don't waste time. Start writing, start rushing. But take the feedback. What exactly is happening with you? First of all, shed this fear. You all have written minimum 1,000 answers in your life so far. Believe in that, trust in that, and start writing. But get the feedback. Getting my point? Then, dynamic. Our answer should be dynamic. See, for example, for the same questions of wildlife sanctuary, let's say, wildlife sanctuary, significance of it, don't quote the examples of 1990s, which is printed in your old book, current affairs. When I say dynamic, it is the opposite of static, right? So how do you differentiate between static and dynamic? Current affairs. Bring in current affairs. For example, while you are quoting the example in the wildlife sanctuary only, bring in the most recent example. Rather than putting age-old example, bring in, for example, if I am asking about anti-defection law, which example you will give? The recently where the anti-defection happened, either in Maharashtra or the Jharkhand where, Jharkhand. So it will make your answer very dynamic. When I say dynamic, it is nothing but including your current affairs part to it. Including current affairs part. As simple as that. So your static points, you have to write. No problem with that. Because factors responsible will be same for next 20 years also. For next 50 years also. But how will you make your answer dynamic? By giving very recent example that will show that you have read the newspaper. That is more than enough to convince the evaluator that you are a good aspirant. That's it. So next is crisp. Crisp is what you know. When you take any potato chip and break it, no? What sound it makes? Correct? Or make it soaked into water and try to break it, it will not break. So it will become rubbery, right? So crisp is what? It has to give khadak roti and normal roti, you know it, right? So basically, when you tell something, it should hit the evaluator. It should hit the evaluator. So as far as possible, you have to use less number of words. You have to use less number of words, but very powerful words. And where do you get it? You don't have to buy another book to make your vocabulary very crisp. Your own textbooks, your own what? Newspaper. For example, how it appears, like removal of president or impeachment of president, which appeals more? Putting emergency, proclamation of emergency. Passing an ordinance or promulgation of ordinance. So who will get more marks? The person who uses the important keywords, vocabulary which is apt for this answer. Otherwise, in your own language also you can write, first, these many MPs will go to Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha. So they will pass this one. It will go to next. Then the president will be removed. So these are the minimum requirement of 1/10 or 100 MPs would like propose. So, am I going to the the right vocabulary? Right vocabulary? Yes. So vocabulary. Where do you get it? From textbook or newspaper, not from your friend's notes. Your friend's notes will be having the convenient words for that person. But for you, the most convenient and most apt words are there in your own textbooks and the newspaper. Why I like Hindu? Because the choice of the words they make. And it has become the UPSC syllabus. Whenever you read an article, you will get ready-made answer there. That is why I like Hindu, I recommend Hindu. Okay? So, our textbooks, be it Lakshmikant, be it, like NCERT, whatever, they are having the right language. So, try to learn that one rather than putting your own words, 10 words. Rather than putting your own 10 words, put those 4 powerful words. Sometimes your sentence construction will not be seen. When you give these vocabulary, underlining them, then you don't have to write your full sentences also. 1, this, 2, this. So you don't have to complete your what? Sentences. But in ethics, optionals, essay, you have to complete your what? The sentences. Here, the entire paper of GS, you can write it in bullets. No issues. Without covering the sentences, you can write it in bullets. No problem whatsoever. Okay, then finally, succinctness, it is nothing but concise. Concise. Crisp and concise go hand in hand. So basically, you have to present in less words. That's it. Then I am specifically talking about GS answers. In this session, I will not be discussing either essay or optional or ethics. Only GS I will be talking about. Yeah. How a GS answer should be. So if you compare it to essay, it is completely opposite of essay. What you do in essay, you are not supposed to do in GS. As simple as that. What you do in GS, you are not supposed to do in essay. You can write an essay without reading the syllabus. Without using even a single word from syllabus, you can write an essay. But GS, it doesn't happen like that. You have to put in more from the syllabus, more from the keywords. So that is how it stands different from other things. So it is not much theory oriented. Less theory you have to write. Less theory. Maybe a theory name, that's it. For example, in a demographic study, there is one theory called as Malthus theory. Malthus. If you just quote Malthus, it is understood. If you quote Malthus, it is understood. If you quote Karl Marx, or if you write social contract, or if you write the affirmative action, it's more than enough. You don't have to again explain what is an affirmative action. Affirmative action, you know, it is about reservation. It is a positive discrimination. Everybody knows that. Don't try to oversimplify them. So just using their names is more than enough. Understand? So here, less theory. You don't have to explain. For example, in the existence or the needs and wants of a human being, if you write Maslow, though he is from Pabad, if you write Maslow, if you know Maslow, if you just write Maslow, it's more than enough. It's understood. You don't have to explain that pyramid of needs. You just have to quote Maslow. That's it. John Rawls' social justice theory. Understood. You don't have to explain that. So that is how it is very simple to write the answers. Okay. Next thing. Is it generalist or a specialist? Which type of exam is this? Generalist. So in generalist, it is like knowing something about everything. Yes or no? Balachana smile marta idare. You don't have to know everything about everything. Something. And that is what it is. That is why I have given you the panoramic picture. Panorama, you understand? It covers more angles, that's it. It doesn't go into depth. Doesn't go into depth. Okay. If you take optional, it is like and you are going deeper. This is optional. Essay, connect them. It is an essay. GS answers, plain picture. ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಇರೋದು. ನಂಗೆ ಆಳನ್ನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಯಾವುದನ್ನೋ ತಗೊಂಡು ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ನಾನು. This is what it is. Panoramic view. So generalist, this exam needs one implementer of the policies and one person who can approach to a problem with many dimensions. We are not expecting one to be very specialist here because the departments and IAS officer handles, they have specialists. For example, the district commissioner is a nodal head for all the activities in the district, be it health, be it irrigation, be it power, be it education, anything. Say in health, you have district health officer who is more worried about, like all those details of the pandemic or all those issues with respect to vaccination, all that. But DC has to do what? DHO. ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ನಿಮ್ಗೇನಾದ್ರೂ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆಯಾ? So let me know all that thing. But when a DHO says, sir, with respect to diagnostics in the district, the person has to understand that what is diagnostics. He cannot ask that person what is diagnostics. So this superficial knowledge, one IAS officer or any civil servant should be having. Getting my point? So you have to give more panoramic view rather than going into the depth. So again, you are a student of, let's say, PABAD, and in economy there is a question on need and want, and if you exhibit the knowledge that you are from PABAD, and if you write that Maslow, like diagram, and if you write one page about Maslow, actually it is counterproductive. People will not like that. Evaluators will not like that. When a need of the answer is generalist, if you make it more specific or too much deeper, it is like showing off. An engineer writing about nanotechnology in depth is not like. You have to write as if you are conveying the message to a common man. You have to write the answer like that. You are conveying the message to a common man. Understood? It is more kind of a generalist and more facts. There is a simple equation: more facts, more keywords, more marks. You put whatever the theory. Finally, what wins is more facts, more keywords, and more marks. And even if you write few keywords here and there and underline, if there are around 12 to 15 underlinings, the minimum marks that you get is 4.5 out of 10. Getting my point? Nobody will sit with your answer and romance with your, like the depth of knowledge or your language. No, they want what? In this answer, these are the necessary keywords. They are there, put marks. That's it. And if you look at the evaluators' constraints, generally for any university or by UGC standards, one evaluator has to check 20 papers a day. 20 papers. And their working hours are 7. 8 hours minus 1 hour for lunch. Okay, 7 hours. In 7 hours, they have to check 20 papers. That means 1 hour, 3 papers. How many questions are there in each paper? 20. So 1 hour, 60 questions. 60 minutes, 60 questions. So equation boils down to 1 minute, 1 question. So here, the evaluators are not gods to understand everything by seeing in 1 minute. They want to mark you in 1 minute. So how you make them to give those marks in that 60 seconds, that is all matters. Nimma brahmanda, nimma ghanavatha, dhyana, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ರ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಆ 1 minute ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರ ಜಾಬನ್ನ ಎಷ್ಟು ಈಸಿ ಮಾಡಿ, ಸರ್ ನೋಡಿ 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 ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಟಕ್ 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 ಮುಗೀತು ಕೆಲಸ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್. ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಹೌ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್. ಐ ಮೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ minimum 10,000 answers so far in my career. No matter how dedicated you are for one paper or one student, finally it boils down to this equation only. After looking into the law of averages, I have come to this conclusion. You have to write more facts. You have to write more keywords. You have to show them where they are by underlining and get the marks. As simple as that. Okay? So everyone is human being. They are all moved by such emotions. Understand? Basically, if their job is easy, they are happy. If you make them, like hinge ಮೊಸರಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ಲು ಹುಡ್ಕೋ ತರ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, it's gone. Their mood is spoiled. And if your handwriting is like ದುರ್ಬಿನ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ That is how you will get less marks despite you have written good content. Content ಅನ್ನೋದು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋದು. I'll tell you what all that comes before the content. Content ಅನ್ನೋದು ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೊದಲು you have to satisfy the emotion of the evaluator. Okay. Let's analysis, because analysis is such a thing, like when you start, you can't stop it. So if you take one theory, if you start analyzing, minimum 6 to 7 lines you want. So that is what cost. So as simple as possible, you have to write the analysis of it in few words. For example, Maslow theory only. I'll write Maslow theory clearly tells about the different level of needs. Once you cross the basic need, you will go to the next level of the need. That is what I will tell. That's it. Not too much into these 6 are there and the self-actualization is the last. I don't go like that. Simple. Maslow theory, because for that entire thing, you might get 1 mark. That is part of your answer. That is not the entire answer. So don't sit behind the analysis. Don't write more analysis. If the question is of 20 marks, but 20 marks questions we don't get. Only in optionals we get. Correct? So there you write the analysis. In optionals you write the analysis. But here analysis is not much needed. Only the superficial approach is more than enough. Marks oriented, always think of marks. If you are writing this, how much marks you will get for this subheading and for these many points, how much marks I would get. Even when you feel that you are writing Goldu, when you yourself is convinced that like you are writing some useless thing, stop there. Put a stone on your heart. Stop madi. Next question. When yourself is feeling that because good questions are waiting for you. It is not the last question of your life. There are good questions which are waiting for you. Better spend energy there rather than sitting with your ego. Nimge ansta nimge enu generate madakagta illa, close it. Go to the next question. Okay? But there is a process, like how to create more content also. I'll tell you. Then now I told you how a GS answer should be. Okay? What all are the contents, like, and how you have to make that rich, and what will make you score more, all that thing I told. But now I am coming to the process. You have already thought and you have already started the answer writing. You have marked those things, all that thing. Now you have to start the answer writing. So these are like my own nonsensical mnemonics and all. Okay, you can discard them if you don't want. Okay. Before A, that means before answer writing, before you answer, before you write the first word in your paper, you have to spend at least 60 seconds for doing what? Brainstorming and structuring your answer. Brainstorming and structuring. And more than 75% of the aspirants, even in the exam hall, they start writing the answer from very first second. They don't do brainstorming. That is why I keep on telling this thing that mains is a simple ball game. People fail in mains because of these smaller things, not with respect to their like knowledge. The people who are writing mains, everyone is equally spaced and everyone is equally placed also. Only 12,500 of them will write the mains, right? And 12 lakh people have written the prelims. Do you object their knowledge? The people who are writing mains, do you have any suspicion on their knowledge? By cheating in the prelims, they have come here or something? No, right? So if there is a machine to analyze their intelligence levels, everyone will be at par. But why only few of them clear? And I'll tell you, the people who don't clear, they fail very miserably. It is not like they are creating the competition and failing. No. Without creating the competition, they fail. 12,500 people, I'll tell you, among them, 1,500 of them will fail in languages, either in regional language or in English. 1,500. You must be, like, check. You ask people. So 11,000 are remaining. Among those 11,000, half of them will fail because of these X factors, not with respect to content. X factors. Practice madilla, brainstorm madalla, structure of the answer gotagala, illustrations hakala, all that thing. The proper competition is among 6,000 people. Proper competition. And among them, 2,500 will get the interview call. So basically, your chance of getting into or chance of getting the interview call is actually 50%. If you are well prepared for the mains, your competition is only with the one more. Like next, the person who is sitting next to you, your competition is with only one person. So look at the competition at the prelims level. So it is 1 out of 100. And here, 1 out of 2. As simple as none of the examinations in the world will give you this opportunity. I'm telling you, this must be like very overwhelming statement, but 50% chance. And that is why I have cleared mains all the time. I have written the main. I'm not the person who comes with, like 100% accurate knowledge. I admit I'm not Brahmasmi or something. I admit, but very good friend of mine who is definitely 50% above when it compared to the knowledge. That person is far better. That person has cleared 4 prelims in trot. Tuck, 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 tuck. But in none of them, he qualified for the interview. And that too, his margin from the cutoff was minimum 100. I'm telling the person who is more knowledgeable than me used to fall behind the cutoff at least by 100 marks. I cannot give a better example than this because I know that person in and out. Getting my point? So please trust your energies, trust your instincts, and like start practicing the answer writing and get the feedback. Okay? So it's a very simple ball game. I repeat. So first B is what? Brainstorm. See, your question will be here. Here in this space next to the question only in pencil. In small handwriting, you try to brainstorm. Okay, these are the 5-6 points which are coming to my mind. Okay, and as I did the exercise earlier, break the question into parts. In the 2 questions which we have discussed, they only had asked for 2 things. So in both the questions, we were able to make 2 subparts, correct? So at least 2 subparts should be there in your answer. If they don't ask that, you have to make the parts on your own. You only have to create the parts. And in that, when you are making the parts, there is nothing called as, like right part and wrong part. Again, you have to trust yourself. Because in the question, they are not asking those parts. While you are making the parts, you be confident and make your own parts. Let me take the example, otherwise you will not understand. We'll take this question only. Why did human development fail to keep pace with economic development? They are not asking you the subpart. They have not given the subparts here. The question is, why we fail to keep pace with economic development? So one side, economic development, another side, human development. So I will start like this. human development is, this is my first part. Human development is, I will write when everyone become healthy, when everyone become educated, and everyone becomes skilled. So health, education, and skill. I'll write this. At least I'll get 1 mark here. What is human development? If I make the evaluator understand, okay. Now, they are only telling that it is failing. Then what I have to give? I have to justify that. So tell what are the health indicators, IMR, MMR, yeah, CSR, so many things are there, right? Then diseases, all that thing you tell. Then education, you quote the Pratham report. Yeah, Pratham, right? That organization. Then tell the enrollment ratio, quality of education, higher education, all that thing. Then skill development, why it is failing. So first part of the answer is defining what is human development and telling why it is failing. This is my, and I will tell that human development is my first subheading. I will put it in box. Why we are failing. Why we are failing. This is my second subheading. Now, I have to address the other part also, right? What is economic development? It is basically with respect to growth numbers. Growth numbers in the sense, it is about the growth rate and our export, import, all that thing, yeah, per capita income, all numbers. I will quote those numbers also, which will justify that economic development is happening. Then there is a gap. That is why all this economic development is not getting converted into human development. I will give that heading. Why all the economic development is not realized into the human development. I will give that. Can I write minimum 5 to 6 point under that? And don't try anything more than this. By this, your time will be over, your space will be over. And I have seen one more disease in the people, that without asking, for every question, they will write challenges. Without writing challenges, I can wind up my answer here. Because human development, why failing? Economic development, what is the growth story? And why I am not able to convert this economic development into human development? So 5 subheadings, man. It's more than enough. And where is the space for writing the challenges? Here only you are writing, no? What is wrong? What is wrong? And without asking, people write suggestions also. If it is not asked, restrict it to small space. Let's say this is your last page. Here you are writing the conclusion in 3, this one. Maybe this portion you dedicate it for the challenges and the suggestion. If they don't ask, don't write 1 page of challenge, 1 page of suggestion. And one more bigger disease since last 1 decade for the aspirants is writing the way forward. Way forward is what? What you have to do next, no? That you can't conclude in the last sentence of the conclusion. You can, no? Again, people will waste half a page for way forward also. Problem is, I am not telling that it is not good. But can evaluator give marks to this? Evaluator will give marks, 1 mark to this one. Why it is failing, 2 marks. What is economic development, 1. And the growth story, 2 marks. And why I am not able to convert this into this, 3 marks. And for your challenge, suggestion, and way forward, where should I give marks, tell me? And in the guise of writing these unnecessary things, you will write less here. Maybe you will write only thing which will get you 1 mark. But here for unsolicited, andre ಕರಿಯಲಾರದೆ ಬಂದಂತ ಅತಿಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದವ್ರಿಗೇನೆ ಊಟ ಹಾಕಕ್ಕಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ದೇ ಇರೋರ್ಗೇನು, ಸರ್ ಬಾಳೆಹಣ್ಣು ಐಸ್ ಕ್ರೀಮ್ ಉಳಿದಿದೆ ತಿನ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ. So for all these unsolicited, I can give half or 1 mark. So this is what is relevance. This is what is, like the objectivity. Getting my point? Here, they didn't ask the exact parts, but we are making parts here. Is it tough? Tell me. Am I teaching some rocket science? it needs the extra courage to face the question. And it needs the calm mind to read the question and identify the parts. Yes or no? Have I done anything that you don't know? You know it, right? But have you tried this? What we'll do, we get emotional on human development. We'll tell why human development is not happening. ಅದಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಇದಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಅದಾಯ್ತು, ಇದಾಯ್ತು, ಕರಪ್ಷನ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಹಂಗಾಯ್ತು, ಹಿಂಗಾಯ್ತು, ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸರ್ ಸ್ಪೇಸೇ ಮುಗಿತು, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆಯೋದು ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದು? So from the very first word, you should be aware of how much space is given and how much time you have. I will brief about that. Okay. Then, ಇದು nitty-gritty of the answer. Andre, see, I did not teach you any content here. Economic development ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಟೀಚ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ. ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಡೆವಲಪ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ ಟೀಚ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಮಾಡಿದಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಮುಂದೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆಯ್ತಾ? ನನ್ನ ಕೆಲಸ ಏನು, ಯಾವುದೇ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹೇಗೆ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಸೊ ನಾವು if I make 4 to 5 parts in your answer and if I ask you to write 4 or 5 points under each heading, can you do that? So first thing what we have to do is, rather than taking the question and starting the answer, first you sit aram se on your chair and open, create the subparts. At least for 20 questions, you create the subparts. Form the habit of creating subparts. Then automatic ag baruttadu. The content what you have to write, that will come automatically because you have spent your whole life behind those points. The significance of wildlife sanctuary, ನಾನು 20 ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಬರೀತೀನಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು 13 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ನೀವು 2-3 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ 4-5 ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಬರೆಯಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ವಾ? Yes or no? Is it practical or not? Then where we are failing? Where we are failing? We are failing at the tea addas. We are failing at the messes. We are failing in our PGs. Nobody is trying to, like tap this synergy. ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿಂದನೋ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀರಾ. You come with different backgrounds, diversity, you have different the specialist areas. We don't spend on that. We spend on reach. So make a small group of like good frequencies. Then do this thing until you clear. ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಬಂದಿದೀವಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಮಾಡದೆ ಬೇರೆ ಏನನ್ನಾದ್ರೂ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು that is not objectivity. Why you have come to Chandra Layout? To clear this exam or to get married? You get married after clearing, no problem. With your own girlfriend, boyfriend, you get married. No worries. ನನಗೆ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಎತ್ತೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವುದೂ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಇಲ್ಲ. But the very important motive of coming to Chandra Layout is to clear this examination. And you will make very good friends for life, I know. But ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಆ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ತ್ಯಾಗ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಇಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಆ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಎಳಿತೀವಿ. somehow we do something, but we fail to achieve the important objectivity of clearing this examination. So do these things. So many things are there and people are ready to help you. ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ನಂದೊಂದು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ನೋಡಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಟೀ ಅಡ್ಡಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ 20-30 ನಿಮಿಷ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಅಣ್ಣ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ ಇದನ್ನ? ಆಗತ್ತಲ್ವಾ ಕೆಲಸ? ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಪೀಡಿಸಿ ನಾವಿಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲೇನೋ ಕ್ಲಾಸಲ್ಲಿ ಬಾರಿ ಕೊರದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳು. We have to do that because that's our job. Yes. So this is all done. Then context. What do you mean by context? So I told you our answer has to be dynamic. Yeah. Context andre eno? Context. Context. Sandarbha, correct? Sandarbha. Context is Sandarbha. Simple. Context is nothing but why this question is asked today. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, why this question asked today. For example, in this means if we get the question on landslide, why it is asked? ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್, ವೈನಾಡ್, ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಈಗ ನಾಳೆ ದಿವಸ ನನಗೆ UPSC ಅವರು ಕರೆದು ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಮೀ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಡಿಸಾಸ್ಟರ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ವಾಟ್ ಐ ಆಸ್ಕ್? Landslide only. Why I should worry about like something which has not happened? So GS 1, 2, 3, think of 60 questions, and it will be given to one fellow to make questions. ನಮ್ಮಂತವ್ರೆ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ, and ನಮ್ಮಂತವರು ಅಥವಾ ಯಾರೇ ಆಗಲಿ ಅವರು, our common Indian attitude is to push the deadline, or deadline ಬಂದಿದ್ದ ದಿವಸನೇ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಇವತ್ತು ನಾನು 20 ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. So will I refer to some library, ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಲೈಬ್ರರಿಯಿಂದ ಬುಕ್ ತಗೊಂಡು, will I subscribe to something and see? Whatever that is there in my fresh mind, I will ask those questions. What is there fresh here? Current affairs. If it is about sports, I'll ask about Olympics. Yes or no? If it is about anti-defection, I told you, I will ask about Jharkhand. Yes? If it is about some war, I'll ask about Israel and Palestine or Hamas or whatever. So now tell me, the question setters part is over. Now evaluator will get your answer, and he will also read the question first. ಅವರು ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, ನೀವಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಲೇ ಹಾಕಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ಯು ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ದ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯುಯೇಟರ್ ಅವೇರ್ ದಟ್ ಇಂಥದ್ದೊಂದು ಇತ್ತೀಚೆಗೆ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ನೀವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, 10 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಹಿಮಾಚಲ್ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಬರೀತೀರ. Does it make sense? So always write the context in your very opening line rather than introduction. ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ UPSC ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಬರಿತೀವಿ, ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಈಸ್ eroding up some part of the blah 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 by water or air or whatever, yeah, liquefying, all that thing we write. But UPSC doesn't care that. If you write in our first line, the recent Kerala landslide or Wayanad landslide has necessitated us to look into the factors which are responsible for landslide, which appears good. That defining landslide in the first paragraph, or writing the current affairs in the first paragraph, which will be given more brownie points, tell me. Maybe in your second paragraph you write what is landslide, or along with Wayanad only you write what is landslide, which appears more appealing, defining the age-old landslide or quoting the present example. So if you go to the question setter's mind, even evaluator will be happy that this person is more connected with the current affairs. That is what is dynamicity. That is what is writing the context. Even if you don't write the introduction, it's okay. Or you club your context and introduction, that's all good. Okay. Then directly hitting the demand. I have talked about this. First, you have brainstormed, broken the question into parts. You have created a structure for yourself, and you have started with the context, not mundane definition. Maybe you write the definition in the second, but in 10 marker, nobody expects you to write the landslides definition also. In 15 marker, it makes sense because you have to write more, right? You have to write in description, okay? But 10 marker doesn't care. Directly hitting the demand, no beating around the bush. So far I was talking about that archery, that you should not hit around. But now we have reached to the level that you will hit the bullseye or that yellow area. You will write only relevant because you only have opened the gates. You only have decided what to write. Yes or no? You have decided already? Or this is the first point that you are coming? No. Already you have spent time here. Already you have created subparts. Under those subparts, what you are writing, you are aware of it. You are keeping yourself aware that what you are writing. Otherwise, if you directly come here, then you will write half a page and you will get stuck. And once you make the structure here, don't amend that. You don't have that license to amend the structure in between. You have to stay with the structure. Otherwise, you will waste time. Because here 1 minute already you have put, and in between if you want to change, that means this 1 minute has gone, and the subsequent minutes will also go. On law of average, again, even if your structure is not so good, but you will tend to get good marks when all your 20 questions are checked. Okay, don't worry about a single question. Give more preference to the time and space there. Understood this? Then B is done, C is done, D is done. Examples. The relevant examples and very, like the current affairs examples. For every point of yours, you write examples. It is like super. For every point of yours. Let's say in 10 marker question, you are writing 12, let's say 12 points. Among those 12 points, at least 6 should be having examples. At least half of your points should be having example. For example, the wildlife sanctuaries. Wildlife sanctuaries, you wrote one point, basically with respect to the biodiversity point. So you will quote one wildlife sanctuary which is there in the northeast, like which is very well known for its diversity. Getting my point? For diversity, you will quote that. And for the natural conservation, maybe somewhere near Sundarbans, you will quote. Or some in Odisha for specific rare species of this one. What are those? Crocodiles or the turtles, all that thing. So you will specifically tell what point is that and what example is that. And finally, the F is the figures. Actually, it is illustrations. Figures is like block diagram or flow chart or a map or a timeline, anything which is supplementing your answer. It should be there. When I check 20 questions, first I will just check, like the pages. I will not specifically read the answer. I will just glance like this. If I see out of 20 questions, at least 10 are having some figures or some diagrams, then already I have made my mind that this is a good candidate. This is how, like, holistically your paper is seen. Okay, in one question you are missing the diagram, it's okay. But at least half of your answers should be having one or the other diagram. Okay, touching the emotional, nothing with respect to the psych. Psych is this cognitive part, brain. Here we are touching the heart. That Telugu dialogue is there, no? Touch chesharu. So that is. So first thing is handwriting. Invariably, please forgive me if you have bad handwriting. Please forgive me. Okay. And for my iterate in mains, this is one of the factors that I have good handwriting. And that is the product of the ages. Like right from my, like LKG or UKG times, I had very good handwriting and I maintained that. So maybe that extra 5% is for my perseverance with respect to my handwriting. Even for the period of 6 months or 1 year, you can get your good handwriting. The mantra is what, take one letter out of A to Z, take one letter and spend 1 week on that. Whenever you are writing that letter, make that good. Make that appear good so that its strokes, size, shape, everything is fine. So take one letter per week. That means 26 letters, 26 weeks, half a year business. These small things make a lot of difference. But we underestimate. Vande satik ನಾವು ಹಿಮಾಲಯನೇ ಹತ್ತಬೇಕು. Sunput beta ಹತ್ತಲ್ಲ. Okay, so do that. Next one is presentation. Presentation is what, like when I open your page, first page, overall it should have a very good, for example, this PPT is a presentation. I can't say this is the best. But when you compare with others, it should have some merit. Understand? So basically how it looks from the outside. Presentation. Yes. So Upito. So there are 100 ways of presenting it. Yes. Roadside. ಹಿಂಗಾಕ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಹಾಕೋ ಆಗ್ಲೇ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಏನ್ ತಿಂತಾ ಇದೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ಅದೇ 5 ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಉಪ್ಪಿಟ್ಟು ನೋಡೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಉಪ್ಪಿಟ್ಟು ಕಾಣೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಉಪ್ಪಿಟ್ಟು ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಮೇಲೆ ಕೊತ್ತಂಬರಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನೋ ಇದ್ರದ್ದು ತೆಂಗಿನ ತುರಿ, ಓಕೆ, ಸೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಚಿತ್ರ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ನೀಟಾಗಿ ಬಂದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಅವ್ರನ್ನೇ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಉಪ್ಪಿಟ್ಟು ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಸೈಕ್. ಜೋ ದಿಕ್ತಾ ಹೈ ವೋ ಬಿಕ್ತಾ ಹೈ, ಸಿಂಪಲ್. ನಿಮ್ದು ಅದು ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಓ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ ನನ್ಗೆ ಎನರ್ಜಿ ಬಂತು ಅಂತ ಯಾರು ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ. ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕಷ್ಟೆ. ನೋಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿಲ್ವಾ, ಅವ್ನು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲೇಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಎಷ್ಟು ಕೆಟ್ಟದಾಗಿದ್ರು ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ he has to give marks, no? He cannot give 0. Yes? So, appearance. Then underlining, you are making the job very easy. You are only showing them, sir, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನೋಡಿ, ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ನೋಡಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. Yes or no? ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನೋಡಿ, ಸರ್ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ನೋಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ ಅಂತ. And this is what happens while we are evaluating. Underline, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ ಅದನ್ನ ಅಂಡರ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ತೋರ್ಸಕ್ ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಂಡರ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದಿಸ್ ದಾಟ್ಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅಂಡರ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ. Okay? So, have those keywords and highlight them. Language. ಇವು ಮೂರು ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ ಉತ್ತರ ಓದಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇವು ಮೂರು ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಉತ್ತರ ಓದಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇವು ಮೂರು ಸರಿ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಮುಗಿತು, ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಸಿಕ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ. When these three are not good, then we go and read your language, and your language has to be good, not so flamboyant. It should not be flowery. Simple. ಒಬ್ಬ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಬರೆಯೋ ತರ ಇರಬೇಕು. There should not be mistakes in spellings. There should not be mistakes in the grammar. Simple. Okay? And make simple sentences. Don't impress with the complex sentences. Make simple sentences. As far as possible, one sentence should be conveying only one message. ನಾನು ಇವತ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋದೆ. ಮೆಸೇಜ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್? ನಾನು ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋದೆ. ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಇಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕಾಲ್ ಜಾರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಕಾರ್ ಬಾಗಿಲು ತೆಗೆದೆ, ಹತ್ತದೆ, ಹೋದೆ. ಅಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದೇ ಮರ್ತು ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ಇವನ್ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯುಯೇಟರ್ ವಿಲ್ fail to identify what exactly you are going to convey. Going home is important, or al jar bilad important. What is important? Going home. So one sentence, one message. It appears like very simple language, but yet effective language. Don't club too many things in one sentence. That is not the best way of writing. That is not impressive way of writing also. One sentence, one message should be there. Then parts and subparts, like even you can hold the evaluator here. ಬರೀ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇನೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ದಷ್ಟು ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದಾನೆ ಹುಡುಗ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದಾ? ದಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್. ಇವನ್ ಓದ್ಲಾರದೆ ಕೂಡ ಬರೀ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಬ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಗಿವ್ ಯು ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್. ದೆನ್ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಏನು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇಜ್ ಆದ್ರೂ ತುಂಬಿಸಿರ್ಬೇಕು. With very sorry state, I have to tell that again it is a human mindset. All the evaluators will be moved by the quantity, but your quantity should be within word limits. 150 words, 250 words alla irbeku. Hanganta heli 2 pages alli you cannot write 250 words. That is counterproductive. Marks sigadu ashtene, time waste. Okay, spacing, proper spacing. In one, I'll tell you that in one page you have to write only 75 words, not more than that. Okay, then idella enu agilla antandre then they will come and taste your uppittu. Otherwise you will get marks without tasting your uppittu. Okay, so content will come at the last. Actually, with a very sorry note, I have to tell this. Your content matters at the last. ಯಾವುದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಹುಡುಗನ ಗುಣ ಆದ್ರೂ ಒಳ್ಳೇದಿದೆಯಾ? ಜಾಬ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಓಕೆ. ಜಮೀನಿಲ್ಲ, ಓಕೆ. ಸ್ವಂತ ಮನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಓಕೆ. ಕಾರ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಓಕೆ. ಇನ್ನೇನು ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಹುಡುಗ ಗುಣ ಆದ್ರೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ಯಾ? ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾರಲ್ವ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ಗೆ. ಏನಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದ್ 4-5 ಇದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಹುಡುಗ ಗುಣ ಆದ್ರೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, ಕೊಡಿ. ಹೆಂಗೋ ಬಾಳ್ವೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಹೆಂಗೋ ನುಗ್ಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಓಕೆ ಕೊಡಿ. ಸೊ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟಿರೋದು. ಇಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲೇ ಇಂಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕುಡಿತಾನೆ ಹುಡುಗ. ಯಾರು ಕುಡಿಯಲ್ಲ ಈ ಜಗತ್ತಲ್ಲಿ? ಯಾರು ಕುಡಿಯಲ್ಲ? ಇವನ್ ಪಾಪ ಹೇಳಾದ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. So that is how we make the conclusions. We have the tick boxes. ಇಷ್ಟು ಟಿಕ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬರೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇರ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡಿ, ಏನೋ ಒಂದು ಹುಡುಗಿ ದೈವ, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೋ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಸಿವ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್. This is about maths, strict maths. No emotions involved here. ಇದುವರೆಗೂ ಎಮೋಷನ್ಸ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಟಚ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಅದು ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಯ್ತು. ಈಗ ವಿಲ್ ಕಮ್ ಟು ವೆರಿ ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಕೇರ್ ದಿಸ್, ದೆನ್ ಟೈಮ್ 3 hours ಹೆಂಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಪೇಜಸ್ ಮುಗಿಯಲ್ಲ ಯಾವಾಗಲೂ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಮುಗಿಯುತ್ತೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಮುಗಿಯುತ್ತೆ, ಪೇಜಸ್ ಅಂತೂ ಮುಗಿಯೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. Pages will be there. So in total, you will be having 50 pages in our answer booklet if it is a full length test. If 250 marks are there, for every 5 mark, there will be 1 page. Okay. So if you look at 10 marker, 2 pages dedicated, 15 marker, 3 pages dedicated, 20 mark, 4 mark, 4. Okay. ಇನ್ನು 20 ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ, ಕೇಳಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, 20 ಬಂದರೂ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಅದೇನು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲೂ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ, ದೇ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಟೆಲ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಗಿವ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ 10 or 15. ಡ್ಯೂರಿಂಗ್ ಅವರ್ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್, ಲಕ್ಕಿಲಿ ಐ ಡಿಂಟ್ ರೈಟ್ ದಟ್ ಮೇನ್ಸ್. Until 2012, you know what was the range of the marks? There were 2 mark questions also, and there were 60 mark questions also. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ? 2 marks question ಇರುತ್ತೆ, 60 marks question irutte. For 60 marks also, they used to ask the questions like the difference between LCD and LED. For 2 marks also, they used to ask difference between LED and LCD. This is what is dynamicity, no? Kiridralli hirid madodu, hiridralli kirid madodu. This is what is dynamicity. This is what is required for a person. But ಈಗ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ? It is all about time management, all about space management. So you will be given to, if you divide the given number of minutes into these questions, for a 10 marker, you should be able to dedicate 7 minutes, 12 seconds. Then here 10 minutes, 48 seconds. But why I have written these into bracket? Because ultimately, by wasting all the time for looking here and there, drinking water and massaging your this one and all that thing, so finally you will get 6 minutes. Here 9 minutes and 12 minutes. Don't worry about this now because we don't have that. And it is as simple as this. As many minutes as we are spending here, those many marks we have to get. As simple as that. So for a 10 marker, if you get 6 marks, that is the highest that anybody can get. For 10 marker, highest marking is 6. For 15 marker, highest marking is 9. That means you have 180 minutes. By discounting everything, you will have only 150 minutes. So maximum that you can score or anybody can score in GS papers is 150. But where our marks come, average marks, even the toppers marks, 100, 110, 120, somewhere there. 110 is the average, yes, for any GS, because we discount so many things, because we don't attempt all the questions, we don't best questions, and we don't put all the necessary ingredients of the answer. So out of 150, so cut down around 30% of the marks. Okay, 45 gone. So finally you will get around 105, 110. Okay, then word limit. They specify that you have to write in 150 words, but the catch is what you know. Here they tell 250 words. See, for extra 5 marks, they are asking you to write 100 words more. Catch alwa? But will they sit and check how much you are writing? You have to fill 3 pages. So don't cross 75 words per page. If you write anything above this, that is counterproductive. You will tend to lose the last few questions. So 75 should be the target. And how it can be maintained? Sir, heng ensta kutkolakagutta? Yes, you have to make that happen. Adikke baribek answer. Content bariyadakalla, ivanella madadಕ್ಕೆ answer baribek. So 15 lines a page and 5 words a line. 15 lines a page and 5 words a line. If you are not doing this, please do this first. Whenever you write an answer, please see to it that you are maintaining these things, not the content. 15 lines and 5 words a line. And that is a winning proportion. Otherwise, people with emotions, especially in 10 markers, because they are first 10 questions will be having 10 marks. Emotion ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಹೆಂಗಾಗುತ್ತಂತಂದ್ರೆ 150 ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಬರೆಯೋ ಬದಲು 250 ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲದರಲ್ಲೂ ಬರೀತಾರೆ. ಟೈಮ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ, 15 ಮಾರ್ಕಿನ 10 ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಇದೆ, 1 hour ಉಳಿದಿದೆ, ಮುಗಿತಲ್ಲೇ ಅಳಕ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಈಸ್ address the 15 markers first. Yes, it is okay that you get emotional and write more there because you will get more marks there. But 10 marker have to be addressed in urgency. Okay, so better. And again, all those 10 questions are 15 marks. You might not be knowing the best content, but at least 6 of them first you write, then come to the 10 marker, address best 6 questions, then go back to 4 questions of 15 marks, then come back to. But one caution is there, while writing the first 3 questions, 1, 2, 3, 10 markers, because it is the human nature that everyone will start from the first question to evaluate also. First 3 questions have to be extremely good. You cannot write extremely good answers. And if you think that even after writing this question you will get 2 marks, better skip that question. Among 1 to 3, if you know mediocre answer in the second question, let's say, please drop that question. Because in the starting, don't create an impression that you are not so good an aspirant. Whatever you write, it should be gold. In the first few pages, even in essay, even in ethics, first few pages it has to be gold. Then you compromise with silver or bronze, it's okay. But in the starting, don't give bronze. Okay, so that is again the human mentality. And finally, what it boils down to, I told for 10 markers, maximum what you get is 6. So for each page, your target should be close to 3 marks. You yourself should be convinced that for this content in this page, you will get 3. And what is the best method? To get 3, you have to get 6 halves, correct? To get 3, you have to get 6 halves. Create such an opportunity to give half mark 6 times in that page. That means 6 points with examples will do, or 3 good paragraphs with all that content underlining examples, 3 good paragraphs. So at least you will get 1 in there. So your target should be what? Per page, and by dividing the time also, per page 3 minutes you have. In 3 minutes, you should be getting what? 3 marks. If you target here, somewhere you will fall between 100, 110. Got it? So this is as simple as this maths. This appears very this thing. So I am trying to prove how the answer writing is an art and science both. This is purely science. Art is touching the emotions, is art. Yes? So what is left behind? So what is the valuation scheme? If you write good context or introduction or both, maximum mark is 1. Either it is 10 mark or 15 mark. Body supports 70% of the marks. 70% of the marks. Illustrations. So this can be flowchart, block diagram, map, timeline, anything which is supplementing to your answer. Then solution. Yeah. I told you now, challenges, suggestions, all that thing. If they don't ask, if they ask anyways, it is part of your answer. If they don't ask, maybe you dedicate only some space for giving challenges and solutions, or only solutions or suggestions. If they are not asked, if they are asked, it is very good. You are already addressing it as a part of your answer. Done? Then conclusion, maximum is 1 mark, but basically half a mark. If your content is good here, and if you have written the context, nobody will look at your introduction. If your body part is extremely good and you have given some illustrations, nobody will look at your conclusion also. But if you are failing here, your conclusion becomes important. It is like what, you know, ಎಲ್ಲ ಊಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಾಳೆ ಎಲೆ ಊಟ, 4-5 ಸ್ವೀಟು ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಬಾಳೆಹಣ್ಣು ಇಡಲ್ಲ. ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದ್ರು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾ, ಎಂತದ್ರಿ ಮದುವೆ ಬಾಳೆಹಣ್ಣೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಆಸ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಈಟ್ ದಟ್ ಬನಾನಾ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಟರು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬಂದಿರ್ತೀರ ಸೊಕ್ಕಿಂದ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾತಾಡ. ಸೊ ಕನ್ಕ್ಲೂಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಲೇಬೇಕು ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಟೂ ಲೈನ್ಸ್. ಒಂದ್ ವೇಳೆ ಊಟ ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಇದನ್ನ ತಿಂದು ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ರೀ ಬಾಳೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಸಿಕ್ತು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಫ್ ಕೊಡೋ ಬದಲು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅವಾಗ? ಔಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಿಂಪತಿ. ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಮೈ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್? So maximum allotted marks, I told you, 6 out of 10 and 9 out of 15. This is what you can score. If you have any questions. Even online people, I will entertain your questions for next 10 minutes. Yeah, you should be, illa nandu ashtondu comprehensive agi holistic agitta, no chance. You will have questions. ಹಸುವಾಯ್ತಾ? ನಾನು ಬಾಯಿ ಬಿಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ, ನನ್ನ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಹೆಂಗಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ 2.5 hours ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ is as good as 1 day's job. ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, all energy is gone. This is the like most exhaustive job that we do. ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು. ಓಕೆ, ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್? ಯಾ, ಮೈಕ್ ಇದು ಸರ್. ಇದು ಇದಾಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿ, ಇದು ಇಂಟರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಪಾಸ್ವರ್ಡ್. ಎಸ್ ಸರ್.
ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಆದಾಗ ಅವರೇಜ್ ತಗೊಂತಾರೆ, ಯಾವ ತರ ಅದನ್ನ ಇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ?
ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಆಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ಸಪೋಸ್ ಆದ್ರೆ
UPSC ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸಿರೀಸ್ ಅದರಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಏನಾಗಕ್ಕೆ ಚಾನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ UPSC ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಕೇಳಿ. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ scoring, let's say, ಈಗ out of 250, if you are getting around 130, there will be a supervisor who will ask, ಯಾಕ್ರಿ ಇಷ್ಟು ಕೊಟ್ರಿ ಅಂತ. If you are getting around 40-50, then also that person will, then only it will go for the review. Okay, wherever ನಿಮ್ದು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. So this is how it happens. But as such, multiple evaluation ಅನ್ನೋದು ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಇರೋದೇ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರು ಬರಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಟೀಚರ್ನು 10th 12th ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೆಂಗಂತಂದ್ರೆ ರೀಸನ್ಸು, ನನಗೆ ಹುಷಾರಿಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ತಾಯಿಗೆ ಹುಷಾರಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಷನ್ ಹೋಗಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೆಮ್ಯುನರೇಟಿವ್. ಇವನ್ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ, ದ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್, ದೇ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಸಿಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಟ್, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರೆಮ್ಯುನರೇಟಿವ್. ಸೊ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ. ಯುವರ್ ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಇವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಯೇಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಗುಡ್ ಫೆಲೋಸ್, ಬಟ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಡ್ ಫೈನಲಿ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಲೈಕ್ ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ ಡೌನ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಕೇಲ್ಡ್ ಅಪ್. So finally, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಮೋಸ ಆಗದೆ ಇರೋ ತರ you will get marks. Okay, others? Okay, I have a online question. Sir, when I have limited idea about the question, how can I approach that? Very good. ಇರೋದೇ ಕಡಿಮೆ, so how should I? Don't waste the time in increasing the words out of the little content. In that question, you be honest. Sir, ನನಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಗೊತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ, you end in half a page or 1 page and go to the next question, because a good question will be waiting for you. Don't bluff here. Bluffing is not allowed, because we have other questions, no, like 20 out of 20 ella, if we write, then we have to think of these things. But better questions are waiting for us. Rather than wasting time here, we can capitalize in those good questions. So best policy is honesty. So whatever that you know, be honest and show. And I told you, touching the emotions. You are extremely good in one question. That also will be checked. And here, in the question where you know little, you are writing less. So this honesty will be given extra marks, in the sense +5 ella hakalla. But while they evaluate your other questions, this feeling will be there. This is not a bluffing person. So if this person becomes an officer, then we can expect the honesty. So then where they are giving 6, they will give 6.5, maybe half a marks extra in other questions. So be honest. That is the best approach. Yes.
So after the body subparts, illustration means examples or
Illustrations, actually, like when we say illustrate, actually it is to justify or give more energy to your points. So when I say here in my lecture, it is about the block diagrams, flow charts, maps, or the comparing tables, like that. Okay. So it is to supplement your answer. So there are three ways of using it, I'll tell you. There are three ways of using your illustrations. When you know full, it is just to complement your answer. Sir, nanage ella gottide, still I am giving you extra, so that you don't cut your even half a mark. Second way of using the illustration, you know medium level, but with your illustration, you are supplementing your answer. That means you are making it more rich. So there you will get extra marks, not to cut the marks. In the first case, you are not allowing the evaluator to cut your marks. In the second case, you are allowing the evaluator to give you extra marks. In some questions where, let's say, 2 minutes are left and one question you have to address, if you write your words, simply will write introduction and leave. So better you draw a best diagram in full page and leave it. So rather than getting half a mark for your introduction, for this block diagram, maybe you'll get 2 marks. So three ways of using it. One is complementing with full content. Second one is supplementing with medium level of content. And when you don't know the answer much and you are having the paucity of time, maybe this entire illustration itself will become your answer.
yes.
Okay.
So usually what we do in conclusion, we give a way forward. So what is the best way to conclude? That
You write way forward. I don't have a problem with that. But writing way forward for half a page, I have a problem. You write way forward and write 3 lines. It's okay. But people tend to write half a page in way forward where no marks are allotted. Okay. So I have a few questions here. We need to write the answer if we need complete the. So basically, if it is the fight between knowledge or facts, knowledge, it comes with analysis also. So fact, you have to choose the facts. Rather than analysis, you have to choose the fact. How to create subparts, I have told you. I have taken the examples and I have told you, you practice that and you show it to some of the evaluators or the content developers or the mentors. Is it very much necessary to illustrate all the questions with diagrams? No. If you write 20 questions, at least half of them should be having illustrations, and that too depending upon the type of illustration that you put. I told you 3 types. Sir, what if we don't have content to fill up all the pages? I told you honesty is the best policy, and when you prepare for years, trust me that at least 60 to 75% of the questions you can do justice. Do that, and in rest of 30 to 40% of the questions, you show your honesty and you write only what you know. Don't try to bluff there. Okay. Sir, if they ask only one part in the question, then we can write conclusion regarding to that part. But what if they ask more than one part in that question? Then how should we address the conclusion? Anyways, conclusion will get half or 1 mark. You don't have to worry about that. So finally, this question boils down to how to create the subparts. So when they give explicit subparts, you write those. When they don't give, create your own subparts which are relevant to the question. And the best number of subparts somewhere fall between 3 to 4. For 10 marker, 3 to 4. For 15 marker, around 5 to 6 subparts. So that is winning strategy. 3 to 4 subparts for 10 markers and 5 to 6 subparts for 15 markers. Okay. Sir, how to approach philosophical essays? So maybe we'll conduct one more session on essay. There I will tell you how to approach the philosophical essay. So any questions here? Yeah. Those who are having the mess time at exactly 8 o'clock, and that is more important than this, you can leave. I don't have any problem. If I am given that chance, I would have gone. Okay. Yes, sir.
Sir, what if we don't have facts for each question?
See, when you take all those 20 questions, it is not like, see, when you prepare for 1 or 2 years, see, there are some necessary facts. For example, when you are trying to tell about social development, in health, we have 5 to 6 indicators. In education, we have 3 to 4 indicators. When it comes to economic growth, we have plenty. We have index, we have, like reports, we have rankings of the states and rankings of the nations. Okay, so many things are there. Maybe for facts, if you feel that you might miss those things, you write and practice, you make the list of those things. Social indicators one side, economic indicators one side, then the reports one side, rankings one side, index one side. Definitely will remember. This is what about preparation, So we have to do this. So whether you want it or not, this is how we have to prepare. Because just by dry analysis, you will not get. Especially in GS, in essay, okay, without quoting a single fact also, you can win the evaluator's heart. But in GS, you need facts. For every justification of yours. For example, I told why India is failing in the human development. So I have to give the justification because IMR is this, MMR is this. Otherwise, how will you justify? Human development has not happened in India. Then after that, very difficult to justify. So by hook or crook, you have to know the facts.
Sir, in reports, should we mention ranking?
If you don't remember the exact ranking, don't do that. For example, in let's say the corruption perception index. So India is not doing well. I don't know the exact number, but you can tell in CPI, that is corruption perception index, India is faring very bad. I will write only that much. Or if by, like the vague idea, if I know India is ranking beyond 100, so India is having 3-digit rank, I will write that much. For example, some percentage, let's say it is around 60% or 66%, you don't know. I will write around 3/5 or around 1/3. Sorry, around 2/3. You can write like that. You don't have to remember the exact, but when you are writing some very important things like French Revolution, it has to be 1789. Okay, then Article 20, with respect to right to life, it has to be Article 21. Writs, it has to be Article 32. You cannot take risk there. But some changing facts, dynamic facts, it's okay if you miss and if you give a gross number. But don't mention, for example, if you don't remember 122nd rank, don't write 113 rank. Above 100 you write. Okay, that much is enough.
What if we have limited facts and we can use it multiple times in same paper or different papers?
So definitely the questions what they will ask, they will not solicit the same answers for sure. By that chance, you cannot put the same facts in different answers for sure. The question paper will be so dynamic that 2 questions will not be having common things in point. But if they have common things in point, even if you repeat the facts there, it's okay. But by your question, I am sensing the fact that factuals are difficult for you, but you have to work. There is no escape from it. You have to, analysis part you are confident, but factual part you have to work hard. There is no escape from it. Ideology, very good question. Basically, there is no scope for ideology in 10 marker or 15 marker. Ideology. What you can do, if you are not in favor of something, you can criticize. But by that one, you cannot exhibit your ideology there. For example, if your ideology is rightist, okay, you will definitely love the capitalistic attitude or whatever the majoritarian rule that is going on. Anyways, that will be pursued, but never you will say that you are a rightist. Okay, never you should say also. Never you should say that you are a leftist. But if it is pursued that your lineage towards right or left, it's okay, because it is okay to have your ideologies, but don't impose your ideologies. You can have your opinions, but don't impose. For example, whenever the rape happens, so everyone will say what? Give them the death sentence, but not without verifying the facts, without investigation. Or they will tell, tie that person to one pole and hit with the stone. Our India is not that. Understand? So basically, don't go for extreme ideas or solutions. Okay? Stay in your limit. Either right or left, it's okay. But don't go too left, too far left, or too far right. Try to balance. It's okay to have opinions. No problem whatsoever. And don't think that UPSC will penalize you if you write against the government. No. You can have your opinion and completely you can criticize. But whenever you criticize, you have to give solutions. Don't criticize blindly, because you are aspiring for civil service. You are not aspiring for politics. Whenever you have the criticism, to come up with the solutions. That will be appreciated. Uttakogoda? Thank you. Even I enjoyed the session very much. Thank you very much. So one online question is there. You can leave. I will address here. How to question current parts? Africa question and skills in current. I didn't understand your question, Yogendra Reddy. How to question current? Then Rohit's question, is that necessary to mention the years in which the specific revolution or some incident? Not necessarily, but if you give the actual or the exact facts, that will be appreciated. Even if you write French Revolution without quoting the 1789, that's all okay. Thank you.